Hey everyone, how you doing today? Thought I would go over a couple updates and things, and then get cracking on that Kriel Space Station, trying to get a force field installed on the front of it, and a trim ring around that. Start with, I did do an update to the Ascension-ISV on the workshop yesterday, trying to fix up a couple of the bugs that it had. I got two of the, well, kind of technically three of the bugs kind of fixed up, but there's one that I just haven't been able to fix, and it's all these have to do with pretty much with getting rads or lack of oxygen in an area. So the first bug was there is no oxygen in the elevator. There is now. Basically, I had to swap out this front door in the engineering area to a non-airtight door. It was supposed to share oxygen with engineering, and I put in the wrong door here, so it sealed that off and did not share the oxygen. So that was a very easy fix. Um, and that is done. Another issue that was brought up in comments was that if you walked into this section right here, you'd pick up rads from the pentaxin tank, which was installed right below the floor in this location here. So if you can see, walking through the floor, that was close enough to give you rads when you walked over to the far side of this room. I moved the pentaxin tank down a block row and forward a block row out of the way of that. So that fixed up that issue. Everything else is pretty much the same. There's an open block row over here, a couple block rows actually. You could probably, I think you can remove this block too. Just find out a minute. Yeah, no. No, that needs to be there. Okay, never mind. But anyway, that's fixed up. Another just a little change I did is I changed the sensor range of the lights that are in engineering to not cover the elevator. Before they would extend out to the elevator, so it would turn on engineering lights when you're already in the elevator. But the engineering lights have the blinky thing going on, and it was probably annoying. Every time you'd go in the elevator, you get this blinky light thingy. So I changed the sensors to not deal with that anymore, or not put that in there. Now the one issue I do have with this yet, and this one I can't seem to fix no matter what I try, is once you install a shield in here, it's too close to the floor, especially now this is already a modified version where I took this balcony area out one more block row trying to fix the problem, and it didn't work. It still does it. So when I come down into this area, you notice that I got 7 rads now. It's still not far enough. Basically, I'd have to go one more block row forward with this yet to keep you from getting rads from a shield that's placed after the fact. But if I go another block forward to avoid it, then it runs right into where the teleporter is here. It's a really annoying problem to fix. First, I don't like having this extended out more. It's kind of wasted dead space on top of there anyway. And then when it starts to interfere with all this, it drives me nuts. So I haven't made a change there. Really, the only fix I got would be to extend this area out one more block row. Here, let's just do that a second. This is pretty much how I've been doing all these changes here. If you can copy and paste stuff, you can definitely save some time. So let's say we grab this. I can't grab the railings with it because I'll screw up the lighting. So here, we'll do a copy and then I'll paste it. Move it one forward again. And okay, so that kind of made that change, but this looks let me unselect that. So this, get out of God mode. So when I'm walking through here now, you see, you still get a tick of radiation here, and it just drives me nuts. The shield is over there. Why the heck am I getting radiation over here? This is more than a block away from it. It just drives me nuts. No matter what I do, the shield radiation is just too much. It's already a large piece to place in something, and the radiation goes, I don't know, I thought it was supposed to only go one block, but if you can see now, The shield is here. The start of the staircase is here. Still not good enough. Still not good enough. This little dip in here causes this to get in the range of the shield yet, which I guess technically extends to this row, and that's where I'm getting the radiation at. So no matter what I do with extending this platform out, this is already extended out 3 blocks from where it was. Still doesn't fix the problem. And then it slams you right into the where the teleporter is supposed to be placed, right in front of the steps. So those are kind of the issues I'm dealing with on this part, and I don't think I have a fix for it. A design flaw, I guess. I don't know what to do about it. Just thought I was going to be safe and nice in here, but not so. It's too much of a radius around the already large shield to stop you from getting those 7 rads over here. It's kind of upsetting. You know, it's a flaw on this that I just can't really fix it. I can't do anything. I already hate the changes that were made here. It makes it look kind of stupid already, and it still doesn't fix it. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about that real quick. Another thing too is I want to get this DFA. I'll probably release this weekend to the workshop. I still got to do a little bit. I got to do a little interior cleanup and stuff. It has no interior in it, so it's not like any of this stuff is visible. But I do know inside of here it's still a mess. I haven't got around to dealing with it. It's weird because I don't want to like put in a bunch of filler blocks, and I'm trying to keep all the parts that are here away from the rear of the ship where it's most likely to be damaged when you're attacking with this particular vessel. But I'm not content at all at what the insides of this look like. It's just I randomly like threw parts and blocks in here, and it just looks bad. Not like you can even go there, but it still looks bad. It bugs me. But anyway, I'll get this out to the workshop. Okay, so the next part here is getting back to this part. Now this is a little bit more difficult thing to do, is I want to get a force field assembly mounted in here. It's a little tricky. Force fields generally are a little bit tricky when you're placing them because you can't just pick the size you want. You got to kind of build certain sizes that work with the dimensions of force field parts that you have, and it doesn't necessarily always come out to where you would want it to be. So what I'm thinking now is I was kind of like looking over some different force fields, and I think my best solution would be to run these 3x9 ones. I tried taking a look at these bigger ones, but they do not work. They're just a little too big for this. So if I had stacked 2 3x9s on either side and then put in these 1x3s on the center, I can create a nice rectangle. It would be 6 blocks high and 18 blocks wide. I think that would work out generally all right for this. So with that being said, what I'm going to do now is let's turn on some symmetry. And I got to make kind of a frame to start with so I can mount these, but I don't want the frame right at the front because I want to put a lot of trim blocks around the front side of that. So I'm thinking let's start the frame a couple block rows back, and this is most of these blocks that I'm placed right now are very temporary, so I can position the force field and then do a trim ring around it, but I got to get the size right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and on 10 we will have a wall. Okay, this would be the side of that area. It has to go up 6 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'm at 6. Anyway, let's get a couple force fields placed here. These 3x9 types. One thing I did do too when I was doing kind of like this pre-video, or this is like kind of my second take on this, I realized that you can't see the force fields at all when placed until you add power to the creation. I placed a force field, I couldn't see where it was, and I was like, what's wrong? So I added a temporary generator and fuel tank in here right before the video. Okay, so No, I don't see the force field again. Did you run out of power? Oh! I did everything and took it out. Hold on. Whoops. Okay, so I just wanted to get a couple temporary things in here. We'll give you some fuel. And now I should be able to see the force field. Yes. Okay, so we got force field going on those two sides. Actually, since temperature is on, it's on the four sides. Now I'll take these 1x3 ones and run them up right in the middle to create that odd number that the whole creation's based on. And that would go like here and rotate that around. This is always kind of difficult to see what's going on. I need a block coming out here to mount that to yet. And put the other force field there. Okay, so that would be our force field area. And this is kind of our trim ring around it. Let's get some more temp blocks here. Alright. So, decent size opening. I guess the big debate, should it drop down a block row though? It kind of looks like it should. Yeah, I almost think it should, well, yeah, I think it's too tall. Darn it. Alright, well, let's fix that. Here, let's get rid of all these blocks here. And start it there instead. Remove these force fields again. And let's get rid of that top row as well. And start a new top row here. That, and that. Alright, so. Okay, now our center point should be here. Rotate that around. There, and a block. Whoops. Block right there. Okay, so our center force field and then our side force fields. Again, you don't have a lot of fluctuation on the sizes you make these things. You got whatever fits, I guess. But there. Alright, so plenty wide. 6 by, let's see, it would be 6 by, take away 2 from that. So 6 by 16 opening, I believe, which isn't too bad. Okay, so now the force field's in the center. The next part would be kind of doing some kind of trim ring around the force field that would kind of look right with the rest of this. And basically what I'm talking about is, like for instance, if I were to put in some angled blocks, not that I'm going to use this particular block, actually let's just pick one that might work better to start with. Like say I had something like this over here, and going up on this side, do some more of these. Can make this angle or this curvy thing around, if I use the right part, at least around the force field, and then you kind of back that up by doing the same kind of thing on the opposite side. I'll just go with a 45 here. And then you got to kind of get like some edges around there. Now it's the same trick I did with the, well, I won't even say trick, but the same style I did with the Solaris station at the doors. In fact, I think it's pretty close to the same size opening. And even on this one, I wanted it a little bit taller, but you can't make the force fields work with that, so you pretty much stuck with this size. So same idea here. I've got some there's a front layer that kind of has a bit of a curve on the edges. The actual force field is a rectangle, and then I kind of back that up by a second layer following those curves to create that look. And the same idea is happening over here, except I kind of want, I don't want the same design, but I don't want to obstruct the opening very much either. So got to find a balance. So we'll just kind of keep this pretty simple for now, and try to do some kind of trim ring around here. But here, Kriel does deal with curves, and maybe I should be looking into more curvy blocks too, because I don't really have any on this yet. I was planning on getting some more on here when I do it up later. But this is a neat little combination of blocks too. A couple of these one angle sets and one of these, so I still refer to as a spans block on the other side of it, which gives you kind of a roundy thing. Kind of works. Doesn't line up with this part then, so those blocks would change. Alright, so let's try to do the block work between this frame and the rest of it around the hangar. It's going to get a little tricky over here though. In fact, I think on this bottom one here, I'm going to, for now at least, I'm just going to run a full block row that kind of swings across here. And try to figure out how I'm going to do these lines here to make all this match. Whoops. It's pretty square right now. Not exactly what I want in the end, but it's a good starting point. Alright. So I kind of want to dip this front in a little bit here too. So let's start replacing some of the blocks that were put in there. We kind of have a little bit better idea on the dimensions. Trying to see if I can get these kind of blocks to work here or not. Kind of, to some extent. Let's see, the force field actually starts on that block row, so I can manipulate this one here too. Maybe I just got to kind of keep this sort of straight across here. Until we get to that center point, which has this arch, kind of gets in the way. So let's, I don't really want it to get in the way, so I'm going to change it. Kind of. Okay, let's start changing it here instead. God, you know, I think the only thing I could really do here is to just kind of flatten it off across that area. Try to make these blocks blend in better, which is pretty easy to do. I would like a little bit more of an exotic formation as a ring around here. However, I don't want it to be obstructive to landing things in there or lessen really the opening area. So I think for functionality purposes, keeping it as rectangle as I can would probably be a good idea. Something like that. Okay, so let's fix up the rest of this here. It's kind of straight here though. That is the part that bothers me a little bit. As I want it a little more bizarre looking, but yeah. It's one of those things, you know, function versus appearance. You know, it's like if I do the thing that I think might look a little bit neater looks-wise, it will make the function worse. And that is something I really don't want to happen either. Alright, so these top arm things, they kind of come down a little bit more over here, and this is obviously not joining up at all. Probably couldn't. So let's modify that too. Kind of a simpler approach. It's kind of forcing me to square a lot of this off a little bit more. Probably the same block I had there already, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Alright, well, has to happen though is I just got to kind of seal this up so it's the same level here. Something like that. Now this part here, we've got looks like one block row down yet, so I can keep on rounding this part off. One more block row going down towards the hangar. That. Let's do a little funkiness here. Let's do some conversion blocks and start getting a little curvy into here, which it's been lacking. So right here, rather than using a regular just 45 wedge, I'll do a 45 to a round block. Gives that little bit of curvy action going on there. Up top here, so we've got more of this. Let's do two outer rows with those kind of beveled 45s and a regular 45 in the middle of that for now. And this is an awfully convenient area that just happens to be 3x3 here. Could be a wonderful location to add a turret, which I need to add a lot on here. So let me grab a there we are. Add a turret. That's could even fit a retractable. So let me just slap in something here now. I got the projectile turrets. CV. Oh, CV. This is not a CV. There. Its first turret. Yeah, that's placed actually okay though, because the height on it won't interfere with you docking, and it would be able to have a good visible range on shooting things around the hangar opening. Be kind of sensible to have some side turrets over here too. Maybe in these corners here. Let's just kind of plan that out a little bit. The problem though is it's an even number coming up here, so they won't be perfectly centered. But the idea would be, this is temporary again, just to see how the blocks work out. Let's say this was a turret belt position here for non-retractable turrets. And let me put a couple more turrets like in these positions on the other side of the hangar. So that would provide pretty good protection if you're going to fly in there. Alright, kind of like all that so far. Let's do some tricks with this here, try to make it look a little more weird. Just got to figure out what blocks. Let's try it. Do that, and then here. So I'm just trying to make sure that these edges don't look like they're unmounted. It's pretty easy to do. There, and then on the front, let's embrace some more curve action, and let's try a couple of these blocks here. Nah, don't like that. Let's try it the other way. Yeah, I think that would. Oh, and I ran out of blocks. Again. Alright, so usually when I run out of blocks, I don't know if that other block actually made its way to the other side. I might have ran out of blocks before then, so I just removed the last block I did and do it again. Okay, so we got that, and is that the angle we want to put this at? That'd probably work. Okay, so in the center here, I don't know what, this might end up with a different part there, but for now, something like that. Alright, so let's try to get this other area filled in up here. And let's see, can we kind of do some sub-pattern that goes across here a little bit? Not really. Not really. There's just no room. So if I put in a 45 there, but if I try to put in a beveled 45, it would come out over the current edges. Let's try something funky. So there's this ramp with a bevel on one side, very similar to this block, just a little bit on the one side. Let's see if we did that and then ran some thins there. That could kind of create that little bit of a ridge there, which would be awfully nice for texturing, especially if you wanted to get some neat texture lights in there. And up here, it's got to kind of fade away when it comes up near that turret. Something like that, maybe. Okay, so the inside here, let's try to get some more beveling going on here, one way or another. No, that's not quite it. That kind of works, but missing a block at that row if I wanted to continue that up. Where am I? That's kind of silly looking. This would be a great opportunity to actually add in some kind of biomechanical looking pipey action or something. I think actually probably a better idea than trying to keep on running roundy blocks around the area. Have that break up in there. Not to mention it would be hard to fit the blocks properly in here. So what kind of thing could we build here that could look like its own little thing and blend in with Kriel? That's a good question. And do we extend that out to a block row out this way? I got 3 blocks to work with before it gets to that. Let's see what happens. Does that line up there? It looks like it fits. Okay, so then on the back side here, let's have a supporting block to that angle. I guess like that there. Oh, that isn't going to work either, is it? Kind of looks like I need to just have these full blocks here. Something like that. We need to come up with something in here that looks neat. Here, it's Kriel too, so let's get rid of those. Let's put in these. I've used these on some past Kriel creations, and it can look kind of neat if done right. If they can fit decent at least. But kind of going with these half things like that, so you can get a little gap in between. It's not going to totally line up right though, but What if the bottom ones here were replaced with the thinner version? Something like that. Only side effect is beyond this block there is no other block that will fit and match these side blocks on the bottom. Top there is though. Alright, so this is a weird little corner here too. Boy. So that is actually a half block already. Let's get rid of that one. Keep the angle flowing that way, and then will this or one of these work? How about that? It does. Nice. Okay, so that actually works with that angle there, using one of these transition blocks. Can't complain about that. All right. And then on the back side here, now depending on whatever goes here, I almost kind of want to see something on the back side, but I don't want to have to put in more blocks around it necessarily to seal it off from the hangar. I think, yeah, if I put something here, I'll have to. There's no way around it. What could be put back here? So I do like these. They're expensive for size class for sure, but it allows you to put a pipe, visible like pipe on one side and have it completely flat and sealed on the other side, which is awfully convenient if this is going to be interior hangar space on the other side of this. So let's say we put in like some of those there, and then I'll put in something else here that also seals it off on the back. Adds a couple lines, and let's see what that looks like from the front. Okay, now it looks like we've got something going on in there. Once you get in the textures and the texture lights and stuff, you can really accent the areas you want accented though. So that might work out. Or maybe the design gets changed a little bit, but all right. Kind of squares away the top part of the hangar. We do have our force fields installed. Let's do a backing plate here a little bit. What I'm going to do is just slap in some temporary full blocks around the corners. Now some of this here is going to probably convert. You know what? Now that this is technically entering the interior of the creation, do I keep this combat steel or Xeno, or do I switch that over to interior material? Not yet. That's another thought you always got to have. It's like cost versus, you know, protection, I guess. But this isn't like an area that's protecting anything, so I want to use this least amount of this of the expensive blocks as I can. So should this be one way or the other is a good question. You know what, I'm going to do something different here too. Rather than using that, let's use the ones with the beveled edges. I think all the other blocks beyond this row here, starting on the inside, would be probably even carbon. Something lightweight, cheap. Not that this needs to move or anything, so it's not really a thing on decreasing its performance. It's just upping its cost. Okay, but we're not doing that on the bottom. Yeah, I don't want that ring on the bottom. It would disrupt landing. So let's replace these bottom ones with the version that only does that on one side. And then we can just say this would be the bottom. And that's kind of how that's looking in the end there. So also it was brought up in comments, I was just reading this before the video, that what I've been doing here, I'm in creative, and I know someone answered this as well, and I frequently do this mass fill, especially when I'm building something. I usually set it to like gray or white, and you click in this icon. You will not see this option in survival in an actual game, only in creative. So just so you know, this is really easy to do. Why they don't allow this necessarily in survival, I don't really know. It to me, mass filling a object with texture makes no gameplay differences at all. So I can't imagine it would cause any problems if you were allowed to do this in survival either. Maybe it's just a thing. I don't know. I don't know what it's for, but you can do this easily in creative. In fact, creative's got a lot more tools and things, and especially flying around in God mode. You can build stuff in survival, but it takes longer and it's harder to do. There's certain options, especially when you need to fly through a certain block to maybe texture some weird corner around it that you just can't do it in survival. But it doesn't let you unless you're cheating and throw it in God mode or something. So it's just so much easier to build in creative versus survival. In survival, I typically just, especially if I was building something for gameplay use, I probably wouldn't bother making it pretty at all. I just, slap together some Minecraft blocks and call it a day. That's all you really need. So much of this is just trying to be fancy. You know what? Okay, so we got that little bendy over there. I'm going to do the same thing up here. And let's see. So we want to do a transition from 45 to rounds. And then let's put in a curvy block up front for now. Could get the rest of this glass in here. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the glass how it is or not yet. That's one of those other debates. I like these windows. I think they look good, but a lot of times limited options would screw with it, especially on certain things. Trying to use 22.5 angles. In this case, it's not bad though. I'm not really using 25 or 22.5 degree angles in here, and that doesn't need to be there either. So. That. Paint you up again. Paint the glass. Alright, so unlike the waviness of everything else, this looks a lot more human-like, this area. But that's kind of, I'm kind of gonna have to do some of that there. I kind of wanted to have a mix, a blend of kind of organic looking stuff mixed in with like tech stuff. Kind of the nature of what Kriel was about, sort of, or at least what you can do inside of the game. There's too many parts and things to try to say, hey, it's all alien and it's all organic, because as soon as you start placing interior doors or parts, you realize that it's still human. All right, well, that's that part. It's very similar shape and design as the Solaris, so I did want it more unique than that. But thinking about it, if I say built in more curvy stuff around the hangar door, it would only restrict the hangar door to make it harder to park stuff through it. So it'd be a side effect already, because I'm putting these little curvy things in the corner. If you try to fly in right here, you would get stuck. So I'm kind of like reducing the size of it by one row already for the trim ring, but it's big enough where I don't think it matters. I think you'd be pretty hard pressed to find too many SVs or something that were that wide. So yeah, I'll stop the video there. A little bit more getting done on this. Tomorrow I plan on doing another look at the workshop. We'll see what's out there. I haven't really looked too much yet. I kind of like to be surprised. So often I will take a look at the workshop, see what I find on Fridays, usually in the morning. So I will look for that. I do plan on releasing the DFA this weekend, or the Skaar-DFA. So that could be Saturday or Sunday. I'm kind of steering towards Sunday on this one though. Yeah, that's about it for today. Things I want to keep on messing with is this ship over here. I want to save it. I want to make it feel a little bit better than it does, and to be less Cerberus-like. Yeah, I got to figure out something with these thrusters, and this is just like, it's like, yeah, if it's down like it was, I don't think it looks wonderful, but everything works. Everything works. The landing gear works. The top part of it works. You know, the thruster power, everything like that works right. But visually speaking, I don't think it looks wonderful that way. And that is the dilemma I've got on this. So yeah, I might do some rebuilding on parts of this ship here. This isn't a giant ship, and it doesn't take a huge long time to build a ship like this. I'm not saying it's like super quick, but it's certainly not like building something much bigger like one of these. It's just, man, got to get those proportions and dimensions right, or it's going to throw the whole thing off. And I like individual aspects of this. One of the things I do like too, and I experimented heavily with doing different kind of blockwork design on the side, and I do like how that came out. This weird line that kind of stretches right down through it, I thought was kind of interesting, a little bit different than I did before. Stuff like that. So there are aspects that I like, but I gotta dial in all these parts and get them placed in the right places to make it feel a little bit better. And I do like the idea of these rear thrusters raised like that. I think that looks really neat from the back side of the ship, and I think I might have screwed that up too. Maybe one's higher than the other right now. But the side profile of the ship is really weird that way, and that I'm having a hard time dealing with. So I might have to. One last idea too is maybe I pull these front thrusters back a little bit more, and position those. Maybe try to position those down another block roads, and then build some kind of framing structure, angled framing structure that would connect these rear thrusters, maybe in the back, and not do that kind of joint there. A lot of options. I'll have to just keep on doing trial and error until I figure out something that I'm content with, I guess. And that, yeah, building and so many other things is so much trial and error. I mean, if you're willing to put in the time and you keep on messing with stuff, eventually, you know, I'm fairly confident I'll eventually find a solution I like with this, but it's just going to take some time, unless I get lucky and just put something somewhere and it'll be like, yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. But yeah, it may not happen. All right. Well, anyway, y'all have yourself a good day. I will talk to you later.